Well, Games for Health started in Boston and it's moved in the last few years to Europe. And we were invited, we attended the conference actually, the first conference in Amsterdam. And through our discussions with the organisers there, they invited us to become the UK satellite for Games for Health. So we're very proud to have this event today. And it's the first European event outside of the Netherlands. So we're very pleased about that. I think the UK is a unique proposition, and when we go to international conferences and people present from the States or from other places in Europe or Singapore, for example, the landscape they're presented with is very different to what we have in the UK. I think that's primarily caused by the legacy of the NHS, and so we move in slightly different ways, and which is why we wanted to have our own conference really, because we face unique challenges. Because we have a particular organisation that is publicly funded, who have to manage their budget, who have certain bureaucratic ways of operating, and what we're presenting them with is quite a disruptive technology. Obviously we see there's issues already with mobile phones going into hospitals or doctors using their own personal phones and network security and these sorts of things. So we're trying to break into that space and bring something called games into that as well. So it's bringing that understanding of what games is, what gamification is, to the people working in the NHS. And it's one of those things that's just going to take time to educate. So what we want to do is have this conference and really bring those people from the game development world, from the academic world, from the commercial world, and from the healthcare providers, bring them together and really start to unpick what the opportunities are. By going to the conferences, by talking to people, and by picking up, actually, there's a lot of people doing stuff in the UK, but it's in little pockets, and we need to bring it together to develop some sort of groundswell and start to show off what we're doing. I think we have to, with the growing and ageing population and the fact that we're looking at ways to manage our health rather than treat our health, games are a really ideal way to do that. And I don't necessarily mean commercial video games, obviously, but I mean the application of that technology to engage all sorts of users, not just young people, all generations as well. Unfortunately, this is a common misconception that games are for bored teenagers and that they encourage bad behaviour. And I personally don't believe that's true, but it is propagated by the tabloid journalists, for example. I have to keep reminding myself of that because I'm so used to working in a sphere where we take it for granted that what we're doing is beneficial and is working. So it's always good to draw back and say, oh, actually, people might not even have the right understanding of what we're talking about when we talk about games, serious games. Just the other day I met up with some old friends. What are you doing now? Serious games, what's that? People, it's not necessarily completely in the public consciousness yet. So we need to work on that. However, if you say to someone, have you got a smartphone? Have you got an app? Have you got something that measures your fitness? Oh yeah, I understand that concept. So it's just, some of it's semantics and terminology, and some of it is how we present these things as well. Well, I'll be going to Boston in June for Games for Health. That's my first time in the USA, so I'm quite excited about that, and meeting Ben Sawyer, the organiser over there. And then we'll be going to Utrecht this year for Games for Health Europe in October. Based on today and the really positive response we've received, I'm hoping that we're going to carry this on into the next year and into the coming years. And what will be really exciting is just to sort of revisit projects and see how they've developed and see how things have progressed, not just through technology, but also through attitudes.